I hate to break the fishing news up, Chuck, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations, you're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down,
Yep. All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Episode 210 of the Real Life Podcast. I'm Tyler Yaremchuk. As always, this podcast is brought to you by Japa Machinery. Check them out online. All your heavy-duty machinery needs, you know Japa has you covered. They're on Instagram at Japa_machinery, online, japamachinery.com. They have some great pictures up right now on their Insta with some XE360 excavators, which are slated to hit the CGL before the snow flies. Head to the CGL before the snow flies. I think I probably butchered that, but as you know, I'm not good at saying the names of machines. Bringing in Jay, Bagged Milk's here as well, and it's the return of Chalmers for the first time in, it feels like a year, but he's back from his one and done. How are you, Chalmers?
I'm good, boys. I'm good. I'm glad to be back. I've been missing it, man.
Do you have details on where you were, what you were doing?
Yeah, I mean, it was basically, I was gone for the month of August, and for 3 of those weeks, I was in Victoria, and I was working. I was on a work trip. And so I was doing work, man. I was building a building in Victoria on the island. Never been there before. Thought maybe I'd get time to see the sights, but ended up putting in like 12-hour days, and all I got to do was play Bear Mountain one time.
And how was it, though?
It's the most amazing golf course I've ever played.
Yeah?
It's incredible. I've never seen anything like it. Like, the way that they just carved it into the hills, into the trees, and I don't know. It's beautiful. Like, it's just absolutely beautiful. I was so damn tired. I was playing in my sandals. I couldn't even put my shoes on. I didn't even want to put my shoes on. But, yeah, it was great. And what the funniest part about it was they were filming a movie there while we were there.
So were you in the movie?
No.
Oh.
A guy asked me if I wanted to be, though, but I had to do one thing, and I wasn't going to do it. But basically, we rolled in, and we see, well, I'll tell you. So I go in there, and there's all these food and entertainment trucks. There's people running around everywhere. It's, like, insane. It's so busy. And I see a lot of people dressed up in purple camo, and they all have, like, you know, purple camo. They look like a dance team, and they all have Santa hats on. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they were filming a Christmas in July movie for the Hallmark Network. And it was like a dance Christmas movie. And I was like, I got to be in this. I know how to dance. And the guy goes, you can be in the movie tomorrow if you show me that you can twerk. And I said, absolutely not. And I went and got my drink. And that was all the conversation we had to have.
Come on.
That was your shot, Chalmers.
That was my shot.
The Hallmark Channel wasn't ready for your jelly.
Kate, no, it wasn't. And I honestly don't think I could pull off purple camo the way these guys did. Like bright purple camo pants and like just sleeveless, tight purple. And he's like, we're going to have a bunch of people doing it. And I'm like, absolutely not. Do you know what the funny thing is? I've tried a lot of dance moves in my life. Ones that I'm good at, ones that I'm not good at. But I always want to give them a try just to see how they feel. Uh-huh. That is one I've never even tried. My very first time ever trying it would have been that moment. And I did not have enough liquid courage in me at the moment to try it.
Just think of the content, though. If we had got video of you fucking shaking it around in some purple camo, that's a way of life, my friend.
It would have been in the Hallmark Channel's best interest to have you on there so we could talk about it.
Absolutely.
Probably would have.
Chalmers is a very good dancer, and his Carlton dance is like Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. If you would have done that dance, I guarantee you they would have made a spot on the movie for you to do that dance in the purple camo.
I should have done it. You know, I just wasn't.
You should have just done it. Shoot your shot. Doesn't have to be the right shot.
I didn't even think. That was the problem. You know, I was so tired, and I just hadn't had a drink yet. A couple drinks in, and I guarantee I would have pulled out like my 6 or 7 best moves and said, "Hey, work with these." And I just didn't even think about it, man. It was. Yeah, my Carlton's definitely my go-to dance, though.
I just don't understand how a movie gets to the point where there's people with purple camo and Santa hats. Like, what's the plot line that leads to this?
Sounds like a great plot line.
A Christmas in July dance competition. That's all I could think about.
Come on, you're Chuck.
And you just like walked into a bar or whatever, and this was happening?
it wasn't even a bar. They were all, it looked like they were taking 5. They were all sitting around drinking waters out like basically in between where we parked our cars and where we would go to the pro shop. So just kind of ran into them. They weren't actually in the midst of filming. It seemed like they were all having a break.
Whew, that's a hell of a story. Like it sounds just like a really bad trip to like take a corner and then all of a sudden there's like people in purple camo and Santa hats just like surrounding you, asking you to twerk.
Oh yeah. And it was pretty surreal. Like you could tell that they didn't exactly have the security that I thought they would have, because I could have walked anywhere I wanted to on that movie set. And I just to get to the pro shop, you had to go through like their craft services area basically. So I was like thinking after a couple drinks, about 6th or 7th hole, I thought about all the things that I should have done and maybe just cancel the back 9 and go over there and start then I would have shot my shot for sure.
You got undersold this trip. This was a hell of a story.
That was like literally the only thing that we did other than go to our job site, do work on this job site, go home, drink rye every night so that I could go to sleep and watch hockey.
Wow, that's depressing.
Oh, it was, man. We went to so we got this Airbnb for 3 weeks. We figured this job would take us 3 weeks, and it ended up taking 3 weeks and 3 days. But the house that we were in, immediately when we got there, this was a huge house on Bear Mountain. It had like 6 bedrooms. It was awesome, but it was a dump. It was like a house as if somebody, like if it was just an Airbnb house and nobody ever took care of it. Like one of the guys in our crew basically was showering in a shower, and on day 3 was like, man, is anybody else's like tub showers not draining? By the time I'm done my shower, the water's at my like just below my knees, and I'm like, that's not. We're getting dirty, and you're showering in that. So I went and looked in his tub, and it was black. It was disgusting. I don't think he would have done anything about it, so we had to go get like Drano and fix that. The ice maker was basically frozen over. When we sat down to watch the Oilers game, the very first night we got there, they didn't have Sportsnet. They didn't have TSN. They didn't have anything. And it said in the ad, cable TV included. So I immediately called them, and I was like, you better order this like immediately. We were expecting to be able to watch NHL hockey, NBA basketball in our downtime, and so we got the game with like 5 minutes before the game. We were getting ready to leave, and all of a sudden we checked the TV one more time, and it was there. So that was a good thing.
So you improved this house while you stayed there. Like you fixed the fucking drain, you got cable, all this.
Not only that, I totally chipped out the ice maker, because Samsung ice makers, if anybody has a Samsung fridge, their ice makers, the ones that's located in the fridge portion of the refrigerator freezer, they ice up. They have this little, like, they don't seal properly, and so what happens is the cold air gets in there and it like kind of melts the ice, but then the cooling system kicks in and refreezes, becomes a block of ice. Well, this one was the worst I've ever seen. I was chipping out like Titanic-sized icebergs, and I ended up having to get a hair blower and stick it in there with the thing shut, just because we needed ice every day. Like, we were drinking tons of water. We needed ice. We needed ice for our drinks. I wasn't about to spend another $500 on ice, over the trip, because we need like 4 bags a day. So I fixed that. There was like electrical outlets that weren't working. The toilet in the main floor wasn't working. Yeah, these people.
And how much a night did you pay for this?
So if we would have gotten 2 hotel rooms, it would have been $189 a night per room, and we would have had to stay together in like a 2 queen size bed style of room. But this house, all in 6 bedrooms and like full kitchen, like that's a house, a big house. Yeah. It was $198 a night.
Wow, that's a great deal, but like, I'm not surprised that it was shit.
You got what you paid for.
Yeah.
$4,200. But it was, you know what? It was like these were like minor, minor problems. But if it was a family of 4 and the dad wasn't handy, there would have been like problems. You know what I mean? I was happy to do it.
Can I just do a quick audio check? Who here is driving while recording?
I am.
Jay, are you? Oh, and now. Why is there that echo? Is anyone else hearing that echo out of me?
I'm hearing the echo.
All right.
That's probably me, guys, switching over to my earbuds.
Ah, there we go. Okay, see, the audio quality is already greatly improved. So there we go. We'll keep rolling. Chalmers, I said before we started recording that you were probably going to carry the show today because you'll have a lot to say. So you talked about the weird hat-wearing Santa Christmas July stuff, the broken house. Anything else here? Anything else jumps off the page? Okay.
So we try to extend our night for this Airbnb for another 2 days. And she says it just simply can't happen. You've stayed there's other people coming to the house. So we have to find another house in Victoria for the 4 of us. The hotels are booked. We find Airbnb code is just give the person everything okay?
You cut out there. So we ended at you found an Airbnb. Is that what I believe happened?
I did. We found an Airbnb, and Airbnb, code is you just give the person an access code to get into the house. They come in their leisure. They leave in their leisure. It's pretty simple, state of events. But this person wouldn't give me the code to the house. She kept saying, I have to meet you there. But we weren't finishing work till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. So I said, if you want to meet me there at 9 o'clock at night, fine, we'll be there at 9. We show up, and they're there. I mean, they're a nice couple, but he's doing landscaping to his front pond, and the garage door's wide open, and it looks like they actually live there. And I've just kind of sketched out, and so she gives us the code, and then they leave. And I'm just she keeps telling. The guy comes in and shows us how to use the TV. His big point was make sure you point the remote at the TV. I was just like, what are we doing? It's 9 o'clock at night. This is ridiculous. So they finally got the hell out of there. We went to sleep.
Okay, hold up. Whose audio is doing this? Because I'm about to lose it.
You know what's going on. Jay's walking through the cafe. I can feel it.
Hey!
Okay, are we good? Are we settled in one spot to record our 1 hour a week podcast?
I'm back.
Okay.
Well, 1 hour twice a week.
Oh, yeah, I forgot we do this twice a week now. All right, so this guy tells you that the TV remote works if you point at the TV.
It's been a month, and the same fucking shit is happening. Nothing has changed, I see, in the world of Jay Downton. He's just way too busy to sit down and just do this one thing.
Hey, where have you been for the last month? I at least show up.
At least
I'm
when
on
I'm
vacation.
busy,
I'm sneaking outside the bar, and I'm jumping on. I'm popping in.
at least when I'm not here, I don't affect it. Or when I'm busy, I don't affect everything.
Chalmers doesn't just turn on his phone and leave it on the work site.
Yeah, I'll just put it next to a saw that cuts metal for the next hour while you guys try to do this. Anyway, long story short, we show up the next night to go home. It's 9 o'clock at night. Guess who's at the house? They are. They're doing landscaping. And we just pull up and we're like, what the fuck is going on? And I think in like the world of Airbnb, like the one thing you don't do is go to the house you're renting. Yeah. Don't you think that's a pretty clear-cut rule? Kind of an invasion of privacy. And so, yeah, I wasn't very happy about that. But you know what? We were to our limits. We had to get out. We needed a house, so we used that one. And then literally we finished our work there. And 20 minutes after we finished our work, we were on the ferry, the last 9 o'clock ferry over to Vancouver to Watson. And we ended up in Abbotsford that night. Had about a 5-hour sleep. And I met my family in Fairmont for a little vacation. And I had 4 days with them and then came home this Monday. That's what
One and done.
One and done, yeah. Yeah, got the product. I got it here. Yeah. I didn't get got. So
evaded the authorities. Yeah, fucking hell yeah. Now, would you do it a second time?
Would I do that again? You know what's funny? Day 21, I would have never done it again. We got home and we immediately got we had negotiated a quick payment. We immediately got the payment, and now I would do it 4 times a year. Like it was cool, man, and it was something I had never really done before, and there's challenges, but the fact is we all stayed really level-headed. We got the job done, and you know what? I mean, it kind of flew by when you're working that fast. Yeah. I don't think I'd do it to my family again. My wife, she's a saint. She took care of everything for basically 3.5 weeks. And, leading up to school and took them on a vacation. I'm sad I missed out on the vacations. I kind of wish they wouldn't have done anything, but I'm kind of also glad that they did go on a vacation so they weren't thinking about the fact that I wasn't there. So would I do it again? Yeah, probably. But 3 weeks is definitely the max I would leave.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
so that's my trip. And now And now we can get into the fact that I never got to talk much Oilers, but when we got there, we watched that Chicago series, and boys, you guys, I listened to some of the podcasts, and I'm not going to lie to you, I don't think you guys were all hard enough on those boys. They were the only team in the first round that showed absolutely zero playoff hockey intensity. Yeah. And by the time they realized it, it was way too goddamn late. And Leon Draisaitl, go ahead.
It was funny you said that, Chalmers, because we recorded an episode of the podcast, and then the next week the anger was still raging inside. So we did a take 2 that was much angrier the following week. It was almost like taking a week to really soak in what happened, and then it all blew up at once.
Well, here's the honest truth, Charles. I was on a golf trip that I planned well before we knew hockey was coming back, and I was feeling the effects of a 5-day boys golf trip on that Monday. So I had the blues going, and just didn't have the energy to give to that important subject of how shitty the Oilers were. So once I was recharged, I felt like we had a fire episode where we let out a lot of the poison.
Yeah, that's totally understandable because, like, I was exhausted too, and I wanted to jump on and just yell and be frustrated and say all the things that I think were just absolute horse shit about the whole thing. But you're right. Like, I understand how you finally get to it, and you're just like, I just don't want to, man. I'm just, like, exhausted. I don't feel like it. But when you have time to sit back and, like, think about it, and then you still see hockey going on, like, we begged for hockey. When you look at some of the charts where the Oilers were slated to go, like, man, we deserved so much better than we got. And I tried to figure out and analyze, as I'm sure you guys have all done it. I'm probably being a broken record here, but as to why the intensity was down. And, you know, the couple things I came up with was clearly no fans, but everybody's affected by no fans.
Yeah.
But, like, for the Oilers, you're in your own city, and you're going into your own dressing room, and I don't know why they couldn't flip that switch. Did anybody come up with, like, a really good reason why they didn't flip the switch?
No one really has.
No.
Like,
zero.
There's no reason. Chalmers, we deserved an effort, and we didn't get it.
It's the definition of inexcusable.
It's like you said, Chalmers. It's like, yeah, okay, no fans. Okay, maybe the ice is a little beat up or whatever, but everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's playing in front of no fans, and we mentioned it, I think, a couple of weeks ago. I think the Oilers were one of the only teams that didn't have a scrap in their opening play-in round. So, like, everybody was more fired up than they were, and it was just endlessly disappointing.
Yeah.
And guys, there was guys on Chicago that were stepping up, and you didn't even see our good players playing well. Like, sure, our top 2 played well, right? But you expect that from them, just like their top 2 played really well. But then you had guys like Dak and, like, players
Kubalik
absolutely stepping up. Kubalik stepped up, and we didn't. And I really wanted to see something from Anthony Siu, and I just didn't. And it was so frustrating. We were begging for hockey. We were finally getting it, and that's what we were given.
Yeah.
Like, it was fucking horse shit.
So
Chalmers, I was mad for the entire month of August.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I was so bummed out after they got knocked out in game 4 that I literally just left for 4 days and didn't talk to anybody.
That's the only way to do it.
I love it. So what has this done to you guys? It's like, is anybody else in the same boat that I'm in, where I, like, begged for sports? I wanted sports. When I heard sports was coming back, I was so excited. And now I'm not watching sports. I'm not watching the basketball. I could give a shit about the baseball. Like, yeah, and I'm not, like, I don't think I've sat down and watched 60 minutes of a hockey game, let alone maybe even 20 minutes of another game, unless I'm in a restaurant. I don't know. Am I the only one?
Well, I think it's because during your one and done, you're working your ass off every day. So you guys probably just wanted to kick back and just do something not involving watching hockey, unless it was Oilers. Like, for me, I think I'm probably watching the most hockey I've watched in playoffs in a long time. Like,
yeah, me too.
I'm into this Colorado-Dallas series.
Yep.
I'm weirdly watching the Canucks series. Me and my friend who made a bunch of money off of Columbus beating Toronto in the play-in series. have put big bets on Tampa and Colorado to win the Cup before this round started. So I guess betting's keeping me interested.
Yeah, Chalmers, I've had a slow spiral into being a DGen now. I'm betting on all kinds of shit.
Oh, yeah,
I'm watching
Chalmers
a
is
lot.
totally
very
missed
proud. Yeah,
I totally missed it.
Bagmel's become a betting degenerate. So Chalmers, you have to teach him the ways of football betting. As football is right around the corner, and I want to hear more Bagmel's betting stories.
Yeah, so I
you
do
name
wanna
it,
hear
buddy.
some-
I'm betting on it.
So you're betting on everything. That's fucking awesome. I seen that you guys have been talking about betting a lot more, and I think it's fantastic because betting is just the wave of the future. And not to mention, I guarantee I'd be more into the playoffs if I was betting right now. But here's why I'm not betting, and it's the most frustrating thing in the world. I made a little bit of money right at the beginning of the playoffs, but I always we got the UFC fight while we were there, the Stipe Miocic and Daniel Cormier fight, and I, like an idiot, like to put big money on fights. I don't know why. They can end in a one swing, and I'd never learn my lesson. But for some reason, I treat them like this is a one-time thing that's not going to happen for another month. I might as well bet big. So I bet my whole bankroll in that night. I bet it on Sugar Shane, and then he got beat up. I took Daniel Cormier, and he got beat up. So I lost my wad, and so I went to re-up, and they stopped taking credit card deposits.
What?
And so now it's every site I've ever used doesn't take credit card deposits. And I'm not willing to go to the Cash App and buy Bitcoin or whatever the hell they want me to do. I'm not willing to go buy Visa gift cards, which has worked in the past, but is just an absolute rake. They take it costs $7 just to buy the thing, and then you lose money in the redeeming of it, right? So how are we betting these days, boys? And what's the easiest way to deposit some money in some of these things?
Chalmers, our friends at OddsShark is first off the site you should be going to because OddsShark is the number one source for sports gambling information. You can't place bets on OddsShark, but you become a better better on OddsShark, whether it's basketball, hockey, NFL, all of that. They got the OddsShark supercomputer, which spits out predicted scores for everything. You can look at who the public is betting on, all of that stuff. They have a staff of great writers as well, one of which is Scott Hastings. He joins us every Monday now for our betting corner. So first off, go to OddsShark, and they have a nice big screen there as well where you can read some sportsbook reviews. So that's where I'd tell you to go if you're looking to find a new site.
Yeah. So I went to OddsShark, Charles, and because I was looking for good Stanley Cup odds, winner odds, and a couple series odds, and because of what I found on OddsShark, I set up an account with Betway. Through OddsShark, and depositing was super easy, except a credit card.
They accept your credit card.
Yeah.
Done and done. I'm going to go there tonight because I've got some golf. This golf this weekend is going to be unbelievable.
Yep.
So I want to get some action on that. And now that I'm home and I have nights back, I really want to get back into the playoffs because at Boston Beach last night, I watched, the third period of that Dallas-Colorado game, and I was back, man. I wanted to have money on it, but of course I didn't because I couldn't.
Yeah, I'm looking right now at some shot. First off, as you can see by the jersey I'm wearing, I'm betting heavy on the Raps tonight. There's no way they go down. There's no way they go down 3-0 in this series to Boston. So I'm going hard on the Raps. Also, I'm doing my research as we speak on some shot props to maybe bet on tonight in the NHL. How about this? Kevin Hayes, in his last 5 games played, he has had over 2.5 shots in 4 of those games. He is paying plus 115 right now on the sportsbook I use to get over 2.5 shots. Seems like an absolute fucking lock to me. And also, I think I might throw a little something on the shot total in that Vegas-Vancouver game as well, because, Vegas is almost single-handedly hitting the over in those games. For the total shots, man, they pummeled them the other day, and Demko somehow fought it off.
God, it must be nice to have a goalie just stand on his head for you. Geez, that must be nice.
So my cousin was asking me today because he likes to play daily fantasy with hockey, and he does really well. It's actually quite surprising how the way that you load up lineups. He does a lot of research into it, and so he's asking me. He's like, "Well, so what do you think? Who's your favorite to win this whole thing?" And I was like, "God, at 142, I'm going to ask you guys because you guys must have an opinion, and I didn't. So what are we thinking?
For who's going to win the cup?
Yeah, like who's your favorites in the East and the West? Who's coming out? Who looks like
Tampa's
they're catching lightning in a bottle right now? Like hot goalie, all the cliches.
Yeah, so
Tampa's destined. They got through their woes. They're destined. It's just put it fucking take it to the bank.
Tampa is right now plus 175 to win the cup. They're the clear favorites. Minus 200 to win the East, which is just an insane line as well. But I think they shouldn't have an issue with the Islanders or Philly. Like, that should be a pretty easy series for them. So I honestly think Tampa at plus 175, like, that's not great value for a team that still has to win 8 games to win the cup. So I don't know if I bet on it, but I probably find a way somewhere to bet on them in the next couple series here because I think Tampa can do it. But I will say this as well. They got to get through this Game 7, and Vegas is tough too. But if Colorado gets Grubauer back, or if Frank Hughes gets healthy again and can step up, one of Colorado or Dallas. Colorado's 7-1, Dallas is 9-1. I don't mind either of those as bets.
I thought Dallas was like super hot recently, but then they're on the verge here.
Well, it's
they are, but the thing is Colorado. That series is so weird because Colorado just had like a couple brain farts where like Dallas just scored like 3 goals all of a sudden on them like a few times. Where outside of those like situations, Colorado was dominating the play. I still think Colorado pulls it off just because I think McKinnon's just determined and Hutchinson's playing good enough. Cale Makar is a fucking defensive weapon. There is so much fucking cool to watch on that team. I got Tampa before the start of this previous series against the Bruins. I think at plus 450.
Wow, that's a great bet. I live bet the Lightning when they were down 1-0 in the series. So I took the adjusted series price and I bet on them to either win or force 7. So there was them minus whatever plus a game and a half on the series spread, and that was a good bet for me because, I mean, obviously they rolled them in the next 4, but that's the one thing Scott Hastings has been saying. Like, even in the next round, if Tampa's going up against, whether it's Philly or the Islanders, if Tampa drops game 1, they're probably going to get pretty close to even money again on the series, and that's where you just hammer them. Like, that might be the spot to wait on Tampa is I don't think their odds are unless they sweep the next series, but if that series is like 2-2, or maybe they're even down 2-1. I bet you see their Stanley Cup odds go back to like plus 250.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to get some money in so I can get the betting going.
Get back in the game, bro.
Can I ask a question as I play the role of the guy who's just turning on TSN every once in a while for about 5 minutes? Since this is a weird year and they're having playoffs right now in September, and I saw a trade last night in hockey with Jake Allen, what's the could 2 teams in the playoffs make a trade right now if they wanted to?
Yeah, but the player, you can make a trade, but the player you acquire can't go back on your playoff roster. So if the Avalanche would have acquired Jake Allen, he can't be on their playoff roster. The trade deadline in hockey is just a deadline if you want that player on your team come playoffs. So teams are free to make trades right now if they're out, even if they're in it, but they just have to know that player isn't going to be able to join their roster until the next season.
I just thought that was so curious to see a trade during the playoffs, even though it's, obviously a very weird year. I thought that was weird.
Yeah, and I think we're actually going to see a few more here, like before the Stanley Cup's over, just because the offseason gets started so quick after these playoffs are over, right? Like if the Stanley Cup isn't going to be handed out until September 25th, 26th, the draft is on October 6th. It's like 10 days later. I know some years it's like that as well, but it's a quick turnaround to the draft, quick turnaround to free agency, and then a quick turnaround to next year as well.
Crazy. This is going to be a fun winter. It's going to be fun winter for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
Coming up with all the guys I'm starting to get, now that I'm back and I'm getting back into the swing of things, I realized that fantasy football is starting up here right away.
Well, that's where I wanted to go next. We're going to start up our Nation Real Life Fantasy Football League again. John C., Electronic Jordan, Ian, Ryan, Brad Stepanko's in there, Nation Dan's in there as well. We're going to start that up. For me, I have 3 drafts, including my big money one coming up on Sunday. To me, the hype hasn't been there around the NFL. Last year, I was studying podcasts religiously. I was reading every piece of fantasy football info I could get. And this year, it's just kind of oh shit, the season starts in a week. And I don't know if it's just because we, like, usually the lead up to the NFL season is the quietest time in sports, right? Because there's nothing else going on. And maybe hockey and basketball have just been that distraction for me. But I am not as hyped for fantasy football as I have been in the past.
No, and you know what I think it is? I think it might have something to do with the fact that as they're still trying to figure out, like, they haven't released anything about how they're going to do it. Still don't know if, as a season ticket holder for the Arizona Cardinals, I still do not know if we have to pay for our tickets, if they're allowing fans, what the hell we're going to do with our tickets. If they only allow like 20% of the stadium, who's going to buy our tickets? We rely on at least half the games selling because we go to half of them. But like, it's like all up in the air. And I think that in my opinion, what they might be trying to do is keep quiet so that people aren't asking them hard questions. Sports reporters have other things to worry about right now, so they don't have to delve deep because they might ask them questions they just simply don't have answers to. And that would be a really big red flag for the NFL.
You're an Arizona Cardinals season seat holder?
Yeah. So I've been for about seven years.
How many games a year do you personally go to?
I personally go to one.
Oh, okay.
Almost every year. Yeah, and then we go on our football trip. But what I do is we have 4 tickets, and it's me, my brother, my father, and my brother-in-law. And so, really, when you own season tickets to the Arizona Cardinals, it's 8 tickets. Like, it's 8 games, right? It's 4 tickets per game. It's really not that much, Yeah. And so each of us go to a game. Plus, my dad goes to usually 2 or 3 because he's there for the majority of the winter. And so we usually rely on going to 4, 5, or 6 games at the most where we use all of our tickets and allow the other 2 games, usually some of the high profit games, stuff when the New York Giants come or the Green Bay Packers come or the Chicago Bears. Those tickets usually sell for 2 to 3 times the face value that we paid. And that puts a big amount of, profit into revenue into the account and pays for half the season. So we're paying for half the season. We're paying less to go to the games when we're there. And we did it all when the stadium opened up. The very first year the stadium opened up, we did it mostly to get in the lottery for Super Bowl tickets because we knew that stadium was going to get a Super Bowl at least twice in the next 4 years after it was open, right? So they told us that was the way to get into the lottery for Super Bowl tickets. So we did it, and then we just realized that it wasn't that much money out of our pockets every year. We were utilizing them, and so we kept them.
You're a modern-day scalper.
We're right on the 40th yard line at about 13 rows up on the Cardinal side. It's pretty fun.
So whenever we're allowed to travel again, if I'm down in Arizona and I want to catch a game, you're my hookup? You're my Arizona ticket guy?
100%. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And they're the secondary market is hardcore for tickets. Where our tickets have a face value of around $124 a ticket, they usually on average sell for $190 to $240. And so, anytime somebody goes, they just give me face, whatever face is. And some of the tickets are say 119, and then some of them say 130, but they all average to about 124, I'd say, a game, right? So yeah.
And that area is cool as fuck.
Well, it's the best. It's so, there's so many good things about it, but there's one really bad thing about it, and that is getting in and out and going anywhere. You're half an hour to 40 minutes coming in or leaving. But once you're in there, it has everything you want, right? And it has so many bars that they're never totally full, right? You can always get a seat. There's so much stuff going on in the grass lot. Yeah, there's a ton of atmosphere around there. But then, if you're getting an Uber out of there, buddy, if you're trying to get back to even just the closest pub or nightclub outside of that area, 25, 30 minutes max or minimum until you get there. And that's a buzzkill when you got to pee after a football game.
Bring a bottle.
Wow. Yeah, bottle's usually gone by then.
Fair enough. All right. A few other things I want to touch on. First off, we did do our Oilersnation podcast and friends fantasy hockey pool this year. And at the beginning, Wanye was up near the top. Chalmers, you were up near the top for a little bit. And it was me and Bagged Milk down at the bottom. Well, how the turntables here. Chalmers, you're now in last. And
turntable?
Yeah, that's
Tyler's on the 1s and 2s.
Yeah, the turntables. Yeah, that's from The Office. Michael Scott says that. He goes, how the turntables. Wanye's in second last as well. He's barely above you. So that's an interesting race for last. I don't know how many more players you even have left, though. I actually think you only... Chalmers, I think you're done. I think you have no more players left. So
I get the email every day saying what rank I'm in, and I just delete it, and I don't even go look.
I reported as spam.
Yeah.
And then up near the top, fucking Kyler Mimamoto's in first place. So we got to do something about that. Got to find a way to take him out of there.
He talks like he knows things, and now he's actually doing things like he knows things.
Nation Dan is in second place. Danalytic, he's 8 points back of Mimamoto. And then there I am. I was last place after the qualifying round, but I'm up in third now. Bag Milk, you're in an interesting spot too. You're tied for 12th. You're sort of right in the middle. You're right around. You're tied with Surveyor Brett actually as well. Jay, I'm trying to figure out where. Oh, there. You're in 20th right now, Jay. So
yeah. Well, are the Oilers still in it?
No.
No. Oh, well, then I'm going to deadline.
No, you can't be, because I've already locked that up, buddy.
Our friend Jordan Buhat's in the top 5 as well. Brad Stepanko is in 5th. So that's the update on the Nation Hockey Bowl. I'm going to keep updating you guys on it as long as I'm in contention. So get used to that. We're also going to have our updates on the Nation Fantasy Football Pool, which will be a lot of fun, as it always is. All right. Should let everyone know this podcast brought to you by not just Japa, but by Oodle Noodle as well. Still doing great stuff. Still putting out those hilarious videos that are for a good cause, I should add, because 10% of all in-store proceeds go towards a local charity every week. It's part of the reason we love Oodle Noodle. They do great stuff, but they also make delicious nudes. Jay, who's the charity this week?
It is PASS, the Parkland Performing Arts Support Society. So you'll see this week we did a video. We went to their studio in Stony Plain, and I taught Taylor how to break dance. And I have video footage to prove and support that. So check out the video. Cool local cause out there. They're doing great things. And thank you, everyone, for supporting Oodle Noodle.
And let me just say, some of the Photoshops that we've been getting, those are fucking hilarious. Was it Dangerous Wade who made those?
Oh, yeah.
Dangerous Wade, he put him into Street Fighter. That one's my fault.
That
Street Fighter one's hilarious.
Unreal. I was reeling from that for like 2 days. That's so fucking cool.
Yeah, that was fucking hilarious. Good work on the Photoshops, everyone. If you send them over, we'll post them up on the Instagram. Okay, I really want to do this because we're already about 40 minutes deep into this week's episode, and we have not talked any Big Brother.
Previously on Big Brother.
Okay, so I'm all caught up. I came home today, quickly crushed the episode before we started recording.
Good man.
Yep, that's the way I do it now. Always caught up. Okay, I'm gonna have the first take on this. I cannot stand David, man. Like, this dude is he can't play with them. And the cat, like, everyone else gives him no respect. Everyone's always like, fucking rookie. He's making rookie moves. And he is. Like, I know what they were kind of trying to do with the redemption story of him being first out, but he is an East Coast hockey player trying to cut it in the NHL right now. Like, it's fucking laughable, man. He's so bad at this game.
His self-sabotaging that he does.
Yeah.
He thinks he's so smart and so above everyone and on how he thinks the game, and then he just makes mistake after mistake. It is unreal.
His whole game was basically immortalized in that one scene that you saw where he walks in and they're talking about the rogue vote, and he acts like the weirdest person possible.
Yeah.
And they're all laughing at him. And he's just like, "Whoa, why are you asking? What do you?" And he's being so weird. And finally, Kevin just goes, "I can't with this guy," and just like wants to walk out. That right there showed me exactly what he's like the whole game. He has no idea how to play. He thinks that you're not supposed to ask questions about the vote. Like, what game do you think you're playing here? You have to have, like, if you know somebody's going to ask you, you have to have answers ready. You can't act like you're being, cornered. Like, he wasn't being cornered. He walked into a room and they asked about a vote that just happened. He's like, "I don't think it's right that you put me on a spotlight in front of all these people." I'm like, that's what Big Brother is, buddy.
But then it's the information that he will volunteer, though. He'll guard the shit that doesn't even hurt him, but then the stuff that does, he'll just give it away.
Him burying Tyler to Devon and Bailey was just unbelievably insane. Like, you had one friend in the house, one guy looking after you, and you, like, just gave it up easy and then told him you were cornered. It's crazy, man. That guy he's not cut out to be in that game. But we haven't gotten to talk about the cast. I'm sure you guys have talked about the cast. I personally think it's a great cast.
Yeah.
I like almost everybody on there for a different reason. Janelle's one of those people you love to hate. I liked her. I thought she was great this season. The dynamic between having her and Kaser in the house together again for like the third time. I mean, that was super unfair to both of them. I'm sure you guys talked about this, and I'm probably, again, sounding like a broken record.
No, we haven't really touched on that too much.
Well, they got targeted and picked off. And what I don't like is the new school picking off the old school just like that. Like, it kind of takes the fun away from me. So the cast actually pissing me off just because, like, that was, like, the immediate kind of move that they did, which, for me, I wanted to see the legend Janelle kind of play the game a little bit, and we only got a little bit of a taste. But the thing that blew me out... What's that?
I think she can't play it like the way she used to, though. That's the problem. The old school way of playing it, if you've not noticed, every year it's getting softer and softer. There's less house blow-ups. There's less house meetings. There's less confrontation. It's a byproduct of the way society is going and the people that are going into the house. Nobody wants to make waves. It's too risky these days, right? And so you see this less confrontation. Janelle thrived on confrontation. She used confrontation as a weapon for her. And, like, it's hard for her just to create that in a house with people who just not willing to have that confrontation with you, right? Like, the one big blow-up, if you think about from last year, was Tyler and
Bailey,
right? And they wouldn't have that again this year. Like, do you think we'll see a huge blow-up? We haven't seen one yet.
Right? I do. I think we're still early.
Who do you think it's going to be? It's going to be between, like, Memphis and somebody in the... like Danny in Memphis or something, right?
No, I think it could be. I think that there's some tension brewing between Tyler and Davon and Bailey, and I think that shit's gonna hit the fan at some point here.
Which it's so funny because the I don't even know how to say this, but like he was all for kind of what they were all about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Coming in the house, 3 African Americans sticking together, trying to, because the show has notoriously not had African Americans go very far in the game, and they wanted to make that a thing. And Tyler was all for it behind the scenes.
Wait, are you talking to David or Tyler?
No, Tyler.
Oh, Tyler. Yeah. Tyler supported him. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
To help David, right? To help David, and he never publicized it to Davon and Bailey. And so, for the one guy that was kind of so pro movement with them that he was going to help David, even though he knew David probably wasn't worth the help, he's now going to get. If tensions are brewing with them, that he's going to get in a fight with them. It's ironic.
Because of David. David ruined it for him. David blew it up.
David is finding new and creative ways to shoot himself in the foot. Every episode, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I want to be like, okay, here comes, like, even Chalmers, I know you didn't watch the veto competition last night, but even, like, I'm thinking, like, okay, today's the day, maybe he starts to do something. Maybe he wins something, and then he just fails again and again, and then he keeps, like, he blows people's secrets. He's ruining alliances. He can't keep his mouth shut. But like Jay said, he's keeping a tight lip over things that don't matter. It's just like, I don't get it, man. I want that dude to do something, but I just don't think he can.
There was a part of me that was rooting for him in that head of household. The game where he had to roll the ball, and the fact that he got so close and still couldn't make it, I was just like, okay, this guy's never going to win anything.
I really needed Kaser to win that one. I really needed Kaser to win that one.
You know what? Here's the thing. I liked Kaser. I love Kaser, but he keeps talking about such a big game. He's going to do all this stuff, and he hasn't done anything.
Yeah, that is true. That is 100% true.
It's very true.
Like he's saying this new, with David pulling himself off the block, he's going to have a chance and he's going to pull some shit. Like, I want to believe him, but I've been drinking the Kool-Aid so far, and you know me, I love my Kool-Aid, but it ain't performing.
Well,
I agree with you, man. He's a hell of a salesman, isn't he?
Oh,
when he's in DR and he's talking plans and schemes, and this is what I'm going to do, I buy in immediately. It's like Al Pacino in Any Given Sunday. That speech, I'm ready to go. I'm like, all right, Kaser, let's do this, buddy. And then this is his
last chance to try to win us over.
So
I heard Danny last night. I heard Danny walking in and blowing the cover when she came into the HOH when
awkward.
Tyler and Nicole were there, and he's like, "Yeah, does Bailey want to meet?"
Yeah,
she's putting. I like Danny how she pokes the bear. She pokes the bear, but she's putting an unnecessarily large target on herself right now.
Oh yeah, she's done too much. She's done too much.
You had just said like that David was shooting himself in the foot. Danny, with those rogue votes, like she's becoming her own worst enemy right now. And I like to analyze the things that you see in the back screen, you know, like, and her and Cody, they're spending a lot of time together. They're becoming friends. They're becoming close. And they're probably each other's like number one in the house in some points, even though like Cody's still got Tyler as his number one and stuff like that. But they're becoming close. And how in the hell did she think that he wasn't gonna like know that it was her that threw that rogue vote, that threw the vote?
Well,
got somebody else to do it. Like when she didn't just say, "Yeah, it was me," and this is what I'm trying to do, and be honest with him, that's going to have implications if he ever finds out. And
well, he knows because she approached him saying,
I know he knows.
Because before the vote, she's like, we should throw dummy votes. Or I don't know why they call them hinky votes, but we should throw hinky votes. And he's like, no. And then it happened, and she's now denying it and trying to come after him for it. Like, it's a horrific look.
See, I like the idea that she threw that rogue vote in there, but I would have taken that to my grave. I wouldn't have told anybody about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, maybe I'm bad at Big Brother, but I just wouldn't have done that. You're like sitting pretty. You've got strong alliances with you. What's the point? Like, what is the point? These people are bigger targets than you right now.
Yeah,
and all that's happened since the moment she did that vote, and you're seeing a lot more of her trying to talk people in, almost kind of like strong-arming them in the way to think. And ever since that moment, her target has just become bigger and bigger and bigger, when she was one of the people that could have probably sat back with Nicole and just been like, we don't have to do anything. We're good for a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people that are going to leave first.
Chalmers, that's why I think that we are going to see some blow-ups coming here soon, because people are playing too hard when they don't need to. And I think that there's going to be some fractures in the alliances, and they're going to start yelling at each other. I feel like a lot of people are playing too hard when they don't have to.
Can you answer me a question that I just thought about? When they get kicked out, and they've clearly all been in quarantine for 14 days before even starting this Big Brother, why do they have to wear a mask when they get out?
I think it's just a PR thing.
The whole idea of wearing a mask is that you're protecting other people from you. Well, the people in that house, other than people who were tested for COVID and literally just got a negative result, are the safest people in the world. So what the hell is going on, right? It doesn't make any sense.
I don't get it.
I agree. It's got to be optics, don't you think?
It is.
Yeah, it's to send the message of where to wear a mask. That's all, and that's fine.
Okay, it's fine. Shouldn't Julie be wearing a mask then?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, like, go the whole way, or go the other. Like, don't go. You know what I mean?
Fair. That's fair.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff like that. I mean, I'm all for wearing masks, and I kind of look at people with a side eye now when I'm walking through Home Depot and somebody doesn't have one on.
Mm-hmm.
But like, that's just, if you do it like that, I look at that scenario where she's got a mask on, she doesn't. This is the one that's been going back to her house every day and then coming to the studio once a week. And this is the other person who's been in quarantine for basically a month. And the one in quarantine is wearing the mask and the other one's not. I don't get it.
Very puzzling. But I don't know. The last thing I wanted to say when it comes to Big Brother, okay, I feel like and maybe they just haven't shown this, and maybe they are talking more on like the live feeds or when, or stuff they're not showing on the main broadcast. But I feel like Tyler, Enzo, and Cody are like this dynamic trio who could run the game, but they almost don't think they're a trio yet, but they all have each other's backs. Like, it's a weird alliance that they haven't like sat down and officially like stamped as like the three of us are working together. They're in like that slick six or whatever, but the three of them could run this whole game if they just decide to be like, hey, let's run this whole game. And where I think Kaser's big mistake is he kind of knows they're all working together. He should be going to them being like, I'm a free agent. Bring me in. Make me the fourth of this group.
I think
he should be outing those three. No, he should call a house meeting and he should out those three to the other half and say, keep me here and let's get these guys out.
Yes.
I think the dot connecting that's not happening between that trio is that Enzo and Cody are main boys, and then Tyler and Cody are main boys. But I don't think they've made the connection that kind of makes Tyler and Enzo main boys.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I'm saying.
Does that make sense?
And you know what? Said all this, I love the meow meow.
I was just going to say, Jay, you said as soon as this season started that Enzo was going to be, because I didn't know who he was. I didn't watch his season from back in the day. And you said that everybody was going to love Enzo. And this dude makes me laugh nonstop.
All the time.
Love the meow meow.
But he talks in the game. He wins HOH. He's like, no, I'm going to make waves. I'm going to make moves. You know, I'm going to take a shot. And then, does exactly. He always talks so big. And everything's he talks like he's in a mob movie, right? Like, it's the best. And
he's so entertaining.
And everything's so grandiose. And then he puts those two up, and he's like, oh, I'm doing this because that's what the house wants.
Was he good the first time he played?
Remember, he was in the brigade, right? So he was kind of just like
the brigade.
He was a peripheral member of the brigade because they got that Matt guy out first, and Enzo was kind of he was the next lowest on the totem pole because wasn't his name Lane or Lance, and then Hayden who ended up winning, right?
So he looking at his history, BB12, he made it to Final 3.
Oh, he did end up going Final 3 there. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did good. They did good picking people that you kind of remember, but some that you kind of don't. When I started to see Enzo again, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I remember this guy. Memphis, I don't remember Memphis one bit. I think that was in the couple years that I took off.
It's because Dan Giesling dragged him to the Final 2. Memphis was a non-event, so now in this season he's acting. He realized how quiet and non-impactful he was. That now he's trying to be loud and brash and tough and strong. And he trust me, he's not far from going out of the house.
I think Memphis is going to go soon. And you know what actually makes me think of this season of All-Stars? Because, like I said, I took a long break from Big Brother. I didn't get to see the last time they did an All-Stars. I hope that they can work it out eventually to have a champion season.
Yeah,
I think that'd be great. Obviously, a lot of people would need to agree to it. And there's people that have real jobs and shit. Like Dr. Will Kirby's not going in. He's an actual doctor. Do you know what I mean?
What about Dick? What about Evil Dick?
I don't think he could come back. Oof.
I don't think he'd come back.
Yeah.
But that's whatever. We won't talk about that.
I don't think I need to see
I love the season with
again.
Evil Dick.
Yeah, I think I've seen.
She even talks about how she does nothing.
I know. I could use the season without her.
Yeah, probably. I was a little sad that they didn't get Dan Giesling in this one or Derek, the guy that won that season with Cody there. I wish they would have gotten a few more.
Or my boy Jeff Schroeder or Jordan.
Some more legends.
Wife now.
What about Brendan?
Oh, fuck.
Remember Brendan?
Oh, Brendan and Rachel? Fuck.
Brendan and Rachel.
Stand them. Fuck. I did not like him.
Rachel got it done though, man.
She did. She was good.
She got it done, and she would drive everyone crazy. But that was entertaining, Big Brother.
Mm-hmm.
So, question too. No, Cole Franz and Danny say that they're friends on the outside. Do you think that's from doing the BB circuit?
Oh yeah,
probably.
They were never together, hey?
No.
So you guys, when you get out of BB and you basically become like when you finish your figure skating.
Yeah, you come to Edmonton and go to the ranch 10 times a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is a bit of an elite sort of club here. You when you're in the quote unquote BB fam, you have those, champion parties and all that for the winner and shit like that.
You think Mike Boogie's still in those?
No, he's in trouble with the law, I believe.
Yeah, he's in trouble with the law, Chalmers.
What?
That's a weird story.
So
okay, never mind.
Chilltown. I'll just say Chilltown's not so Chilltown anymore.
No.
Oh, he did something gross, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well.
Oh God.
We took a couple podcasts there without a lot of Big Brother talk, so I'm happy we're getting this all in now.
Who's our horses to go on? Who's our horses here?
Enzo.
Team Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler. You have to. But that's the thing. Everyone should have known them. You should vote Tyler out first.
Yes.
Right? It's so fucking it's so obvious. You watch him come in and yes, I like Tyler the player and I like him watching competing and but hello, wake up, but everyone just wants to work with him. And I'm like, oh my God.
He's so chill, man. He's got
so chill.
He's got that majestic flow this season as well. I think it's hypnotizing people.
He's a calm beast. He's going to go far.
It was very telling where he was opening his HOH package and Janelle was sitting on the couch and she was talking to somebody else whispering and she was just like, look at him. He's so good at this game. Just look at him. And just like the way he was acting and the way he was interacting with people, I think he has a real charm to him and like an air where even if you know you shouldn't leave him, you almost feel more safe because you're with him. You know what I mean? As opposed to getting him out.
Yeah,
I agree.
But I'm team Cody, man. I'm ride or die Cody. I fucking love Cody. I don't know what it is about him.
Okay.
He's my man.
Go ahead.
Can we talk about Enzo just always sipping a White Claw while he's HOA?
Yeah, I noticed that too. And it's the black cherry. I respect it.
Oh, fuck. That's good stuff.
Oh, that's a boss move.
Is that what they drink in Staten Island?
Yeah.
Really?
He's from Jersey.
Same thing.
I quietly am pulling for, but I don't even know why she fucking volunteered it. Christmas. I think she's quietly just going to keep kind of staying alive and going forward, and she can win comp. So, and everyone trusts and likes her, so she could go pretty far too.
Yeah, I think she could.
I'm Team Tyler, and you know what? I'm quietly I'm growing. Ian is really growing up.
He's good, man.
Yeah, I like Ian too.
How can he not? He's a very likable guy. All right.
Yeah.
I think we're going to wrap this up a little bit here. Shout out to our friends at Japa. Again, check them out, japamachinery.com. They are your spot for heavy-duty machinery. They got everything you need. Check them out, japamachinery.com. Chalmers, it was good to have you back. Like a breath of fresh air for the pod.
It was good to be back, and I can't wait to see how your love life on Where's the Friends is going. That was one of my favorite things I saw while I was gone, man. That's good stuff.
Oh, it's good.
He's just playing hard to get.
Yeah, I'm just playing a lot hard to get the old ladies. But we don't need to dig. We'll dig into that. Maybe I'll have an update on Monday's episode here. But that's gonna do it for episode 210 of Nation Real Life, brought to you by Japa Machinery. I'm Tyler Yaremchuk for Chalmers, Jay, Bag Milk. Thanks for tuning in. We will talk to you again on Monday.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast from.